You've just stepped into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, your space to ignite possibility, redefine purpose, and embrace the power that comes with age and experience. Co-hosted by yours truly, Coach Wayne.
And I'm Coach Stacy M. Lewis. We are two seasoned coaches focused on the midlife community of color. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. In a world that sometimes forgets the power and the wisdom that comes with age, we are here to ignite a revolution and rewrite the narrative of this incredible journey.
So, whether you're navigating your career, growing your business, rediscovering passions, or challenging the status quo, this is your space. So, buckle up. Let's dive into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good midday, good something, everyone. It is Midlife Revolution Unleashed, and I am your coach, Coach Wayne, the VIP coach, working with Black men as they navigate midlife and wind up having the best of life on the second half. Today, I'm with none other than my co-host, Coach Stacy M. Lewis. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, Coach Wayne. It is always a pleasure to be with you. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, grand rising, rest well. Welcome to the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I am Coach Stacy, happen to be a nonprofit executive as well as a midlife women's coach and a lover of God and his people. And I'm just so excited to be here with my co-host, Wayne. Wayne, I have to tell you, I'm just still feeling a little excited from last week's episode. You know, we had such fantastic guests. Oh, well, look at that. See, you speak, and then good evening, Sister Kelly. It's good to see you tonight. We had such a fantastic conversation with Kelly and Terrell and Curtis, and I'm still catching snippets of that replay and just so excited by that episode. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. That was powerful. And I want to thank all our guests for being there. And those who are listening, Sister Kelly is right here with us right now. And welcome and good evening. And Kelly, we've been playing over and over the sharing that you had at the end of the show and sort of reckoning to your calling for us in terms of way that we will be moving forward with this show. So thank you for that blessing. We appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. What a blessing that was. So today, Sir Wayne,
Yes,
we are talking about from employee to entrepreneur to intrapreneur, how to think like a boss.
Yeah. And we said the magic word to think like a boss, which means that you don't have to have the designation, the official stamp that you are a boss of others. We know you're a boss of yourself first and foremost, but it's the mindset, right? And when we talk about intrapreneurship, it's separately dealt with than the word entrepreneurship, right, which is when you go to work for yourself, no longer deal with that W-2 and you build a business. Intrapreneurship, as you shared with me, Stacy, as we were planning this session, is about how we see and view ourselves, the mindset.
Yes, absolutely. And for those of us that, you know, are still working a 9 to 5, a 7 to 11, whatever that is, as you said, those of us that are in those work settings, right? There are such great opportunities to begin to think like an entrepreneur, to really think with a leadership lens, to think with a lens of creativity and, you know, how you can really position yourself as a value add, even on your job. And this mindset is so important Those of you who are connected to me on LinkedIn, you saw that I posted recently just this feeling of overwhelm and just dealing with the uncertainty, multitude of changes, family life, work life, entrepreneurship, etc. And the mindset shift that I had to remember is that of the circles of control or the locus of control. Like, wait a minute. A, God is sovereign. B, what do I have full control over? What do I have maybe some influence over? And most importantly, what do I have no control over? And how can I make sure that I'm positioning that in my mindset, that my mind is set on the reality that God is sovereign, and there are many, many things that are currently happening that I am not in control over. So we hope that this episode is really one that blesses and fuels you, our listener.
Yeah, Stacy, today we're into March, and so this happens to be Women's History Month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have a special nugget regarding that, but if not, I'm waiting in the wings.
Well, I can certainly shout out to many, many powerful women. Good evening, Delane. Thank you so much for joining us. One thing I learned recently was really the powerful role that women have played since the inception of the NAACP. And the documentary was talking about kind of the founding of the NAACP and who played a role, and how there was this argument basically about how, some wanted women to be involved and some did not. Yet when women were involved, the power and the impact of the NAACP grew significantly. So that is today's kind of shout out to Women's History Month, and really the power and the impact that women bring to everything that we do.
Amen. Amen. Stacey, I gotta tell you that no shame in my game. I had very strong, nurturing, loving women in my family from the get-go. My mom, my two sisters, and my current wife, and along and my daughters. Just been blessed in that department, and so
Mhm.
I'm always one who celebrates the queendom that's among us. And so, yes, happy Women's History Month to all the females listening in.
Yes, indeed. So let's jump on in. What would you say, Coach Wayne, are let's start with the mindset shifts and make sure we bring in some coaching strategies to go along with those mindset shifts as we try to encourage our audience to go from employee to intrapreneur, or really to think like a boss, to think like a leader.
Yeah, let me start with a quote from Oprah Winfrey. She says, I
Okay.
don't think of myself as a poor, deprived ghetto girl who made good. I think of myself as somebody who, from an early age, knew I was responsible for myself and I had to make good.
Hmm.
One of the things that we are looking at when we talk about being an intrapreneur mindset is about taking ownership and responsibility and recognizing that even what we consider failure is
Hmm.
a lesson and really a stepping stone and a learning tool. That's part of the thinking.
It really, really is an important part. And I think that we go through failures, I say in air quotes, um, every day, but we really get the opportunity. I think that coaching nugget is to remind everyone of the opportunity to reframe those failures in ways that the lesson is what rises to the top, not the failure or what went wrong, but what you learned is what rises to the top. That's what's most important.
Yep. And another way of thinking as an intrapreneur, again, whether you're doing it with yourself or with an organization,
Mm-hmm.
is to question everything, right? To ask positive powerful questions of possibilities. Ask the question, why? And of course, since the person that you talk to most of all is who? Moi, yourself. Ask why. Why am I doing this?
Not only the why, um, but really even exploring like the way we feel right now, what we're doing right now, how we're behaving or how we're showing up. Um, is that helping us or is it hindering us? And so, questioning ourselves, I think, is really important, as you're pointing out. It is saying to ourselves, like, wait a minute, either why am I feeling this way? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And really asking ourselves those important questions. Um, I know that, Wayne, you and I have talked about using kind of the 5 whys. I know that you've done. He's coached me before, everyone. So that idea of using the 5 whys, asking ourselves why 5 times to really start to get to the root of the issue.
Yeah. We found, Stacy, in coaching practice that oftentimes the reason why people come and see us is not truly the core reason. And that's one of the things that we
Mm.
do, the 5 whys. The 5 whys helps to unsheath, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
layers. And so we get to it by getting to the core. And you can do
Yeah.
this with yourself. Just take a
Mm-hmm.
journal and keep asking, why did I do this?
Mm-hmm.
For such and such a reason. And why is that important for such and such? And why is that important? And keep digging down.
Yeah, yeah, get beyond the symptoms to the real foundation, the real heart of the matter.
And guess what's going to happen, Stacy?
What's going
Sometimes during that process, you're going to feel a sense of discomfort, uncomfortable.
mm.
And it's okay. Part of the intrapreneurial thinking is to challenge yourself and be in spaces where you're not familiar, where there's discomfort, and push through anyway.
Yes, 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 and yes. We are not saying put yourself in dangerous situations. What we are saying is that we have to push ourselves, whether on the job, in our business, even in our general lives. Often we have to push ourselves beyond our comfort zone, right? Beyond what makes us feel like, oh yeah, all is well, and I'm not going to pursue those dreams, passions, desires, or what God is telling me to do. That pushing beyond the comfort zone is really critical, and it reminded me um, of one of my clients who was really stuck behind this sense of extremely low confidence, and stuck behind that in a way that she knew she wanted a new job. She kept looking at and applying for new jobs, but I could see and sense that the way she was even doing that was from this place of no confidence. And so to work with her to really begin to position, to shift her mindset and really position herself in a way that allowed her to take bold steps, right? Bold steps, and not only applying for jobs that were like, okay, but bold steps and applying for jobs that were maybe a bit of a stretch for her, and really showing up in those interviews from a new place with a new mindset. And so that, and it wasn't comfortable, but she did it. Woo, woo, woo.
And as Kelly's saying, the growth usually happens, the breakthrough usually happens when you leave the comfort zone. See, the
Yes.
comfort zone, it's same old, same old. And so you're not pushed to take yourself to the next level, to test yourself. And it's like, think about physically going into the gym. If
Mm-hmm.
you are managing the same exercise for a year straight, meaning you're at your limit and you stay there, nothing happens in terms of stress to the muscles to allow you to get it to the next point. And that's how you get there, which takes us right into the fact that sometimes, Stacy, when we have this intrapreneurial mindset, we have to take calculated risk.
Mhm.
And in taking these risks, uh, we know we're not going to be just reckless and haphazardly just doing things. We are going to figure it out and be intentional about it. But we do have to take risk, right?
You have to. You have to take risks. Otherwise, you stay where you are. So you're right. The two are really interconnected. The comfort, discomfort, and taking those calculated risks. Right. I don't think that either of us are recommending that you're going to just throw care to the wind, right, or throw caution to the wind. I think that's what the saying is, and just do it. That you're really going to be strategic and thoughtful, with a sense of preparation about what you're going to do, knowing that there's going to be some risk and there's also going to be potential reward. So you're absolutely right. Take calculated risks.
So it's really just weighing, right? Weighing it and asking for discernment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
making sure that we are obedient, as we've been saying. And then, Stacy, one of the other strategies in terms of mindset is around adapting quickly to change, not lollygagging. Stacy, when we were starting this program, and we've talked about it several times, the adjustments, me going back to the boardroom and making sure that the hue was just right and we had the right gold and the right color here and we were centered. And you sit back and you watch and you're like, hey, dude, let's just get it done. Part of the entrepreneurial spirit is to make decisions and trust in the process.
You're absolutely right, Wayne. I can't help but laugh because some of those times were really funny. And you're right. It is the balance in the personalities, right? And I guess I'm a little bit less risk averse than Wayne is. And it is important that we encourage even that adaptability, in ways that are supportive, in ways that are encouraging, as opposed to, come on, Wayne, what are you thinking? That's not really helpful. But really adapting quickly to change is that way you do so with the strategy, with encouragement, and you do it in love when you have to really encourage others to adapt quickly to change.
In hindsight, as I'm thinking about the taking calculated risk, Stacy,
Mm,
there's this
mhm.
10-10-10 rule that we could have shared. And so let us drop that nugget right now.
Sure.
If you're paying attention to this, take notes right here. The 10-10 rule is looking at risk through increments of 10 days, 10 weeks, and 10 months or 10 years. And so we're looking at immediate, short term,
Mhm.
we're looking at intermediate, and we're looking for long term. And what we want to do is see how by taking these risks, they impact us during these periods. So that's the 10-10-10 rule.
Yeah. So it is a really great approach. In particular for calculated risk, I think it also works for just decision making, right? Really thinking about the decision from the immediate, the intermediate, and then the long term, can really be a benefit.
Stacey, you brought up decision making, which is a thing that we're just touching on it just now as far as
Mhm.
adapting. But there's also this strategy, the Eisenhower uh, matrix, decision making matrix. And
Mhm.
literally, it's really just looking at a quadrant. So there are four quadrants in there. One quadrant is around urgency, not importance is the second one, not urgent is one, and importance is one. And so you take a look and see where your decision falls. Is the thing important but not urgent? Is it urgent and important? And based on that, and you can look that up because we don't have enough time in this on this forum to go through it all.
Mhm.
You can look it up. The Eisenhower, made popular by President Dwight Eisenhower, the Eisenhower decision matrix. Business people use it all the time. You can use it all the time. Or sometimes when it comes to whether you delegate, you take action now, or you plan it for the future, or just totally eliminate it. So we're recommending that you check that out.
Oh, I'm all about that total elimination. Some things are they're just too much. But I appreciate having yet another tool, right? That's why we're here, really, to share tools to our midlife community that will help them move forward, regardless of whether they're on the job, running a business, I think Kelly has like 5 businesses. I don't know, something like that, but there's a lot of decision making to be made. And this is really good because I use this on my job as well, that having your decisions being filtered by the level of peace it gives you or robs you of is another gem. Love it. Love it.
I love
Love
that.
it.
So now, Stacy, I had an opportunity to speak to an audience this weekend, and I spoke about relationships. And one of the things that I pointed out is that there are different types of relationships, and you gotta, from the get-go, know the type that you're invested in or you want to have. And one of these that we look at oftentimes is a relationship just simply transactional? And we want to develop relationships when we talk about intrapreneurship that are more than just transactional, because what we want to build are authentic, solid relationships where people don't think you're simply in there for the benefit of what's in it for you. So you're not just giving yourself because you're waiting for somebody to give back to you. That's a little fake.
Yeah, I think it's so important. And I want to take a quick second to just welcome Delane, who's checking us out on Facebook. Welcome, Delane. It's so important to really value relationships, right? We know that some people come into our lives for a lifetime and some people come into our lives for a minute. But to really not only assess, but to really value relationships. You just don't know. And so often, I'm sure, Wayne, you've experienced this too, where conversations with someone you don't really know that well turn into those that are like, okay, here's what I can do for you. What can you do for me? Right.
Yes.
That transaction, as opposed to, do you even know me? Do you really want me to do that for you? But
Yes.
really investing in the relationship in authentic ways, I think is critical. So to really reach out to people without agenda, but in ways that are just supportive. And I'm just cheering you on. That's my jam. Wayne will see you at the top. I'm
That's
cheering
right.
you on.
Yes, cheering them on. I hear that. Everybody needs a little cheering. And Stacey, we had 8 of these to share tonight, 8 tips, as it were. And I think we are at number 7, which is about staying laser focused. Now, this is key. I haven't been diagnosed, but I would say sometimes I'm operating on ADHD level. That is, I'm touching shiny objects and rotating them. I can't sometimes keep focused, and knowing that I have to kind of restrain myself and put on the blinders and just pull back. And I think this is important as an intrapreneur, that we have to figure out how to cut the noise and get laser focus so that we can complete tasks and get our goals accomplished.
Yes, clearly you are not alone. What I will say is that, so I don't want to get too spiritual here, right? But I'm reminded of when, we often talk about the enemy holding us back, or, the enemy getting in our way. The reality is the enemy is just fine if we just keep going in circles. right? If we keep going, if we keep chasing those shiny objects, the enemy is just fine, because then we're no longer on purpose. And I realized that, recently the distractions have just been overwhelming. And I have to remind myself, and one thing this question I do use even in coaching is, will this move the primary goal forward? Right. So when we see those shiny butterflies, you know how I like a good butterfly. I like a good butterfly. But when we see those shiny butterflies, the question is, will this help the goal move forward? Will this help the business move forward? Will this help the project move forward? And if the answer is no, then it gotta go. I'm just
Gotta
saying,
go.
it gotta go. It gotta go.
My sister is saying she's laughing at my laser focus ADHD. Uh,
Okay, no, there'll be no family secrets here on the Midlife Revolution Unleashed.
and then, we are coming full circle when we talk about increasing communication skills so that we can move forward without having everything just crystal clear and
Hmm.
pristine and perfect. But we must be able to start effectively communicating what our intent is, what we want to have at the end, and the folks that we need to support our vision and our goals. It's important that we do this through effective communication.
Yes, absolutely. And you, Wayne, were vulnerable a few minutes ago, just talking about how you wanted everything to be perfect for the podcast. That's how he feels about you, Ben Lifers, everybody. That's how he feels about you, that he wants it to be perfect for you, which we know is laudable, but we also know that perfection is a false goal. We can never attain perfection. So you're right. Not only increasing our communication skills, the way we talk to each other, and how we communicate both of perfection. I definitely have a lot of that I still deal with, whether it be on my job, whether it be in my business. I'm used to, kind of excelling to a standard, and that standard is that, it has to look like I've been working on it for 20 years, right? And so that level of perfection is just not it's not attainable. So we encourage our community, right, to not only communicate, but to move forward without perfection as the goal.
Authentically you. Stacy, just now when you were sharing that, you got stuck. You froze for a moment. So it
Oh,
wasn't perfect, but what you were saying was sometimes we get stuck in the moment waiting for it to be perfect. So that
to
was
be perfect.
that was
I had
beautiful.
no idea. Good old
Yeah, no problem.
technology. Good old technology. So
And so
go ahead, Wayne.
I'm sorry. I was just saying it's having that beta mindset
Mm,
where we are
that's good.
testing the water, right?
That's good.
And if we don't move forward, we never know what the product or service is. And when we have that mindset, uh, testing means we're getting data, which allows us to then see it as feedback, constructive feedback, so that we can move forward in terms of having that intrapreneurial mind shift. So whether you're working for somebody else or not, you want to have that mindset so that you are somebody that they can count on and feel a sense of responsibility with.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, just in recapping, right, for those of you that maybe are behind the wheel and could not take notes, so that it'll be there. We talked about embracing failure as a learning tool, about questioning everything, even yourself, finding comfort in the uncomfortable, taking those calculated risks, adapting quickly to change, investing in relationships, not just transactions, staying laser focused on what matters, increasing communication skills, and moving forward without perfection.
Yeah. I would suggest, Stacy, that you, our listener, that you take it in baby steps. Don't try
Mhm.
to do it all in one bite. They
Well
say the
said.
way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And so
Mhm.
why don't you just pick one or two of these mindset shifts and try to adapt to that this week and journal it, check it out. If it works for you, then keep it in your arsenal and add another or two others the week following until you have totally acquired this new intrapreneurial mindset.
Yeah, I would add, if it works for you, share it in the comments. Let others know what's working, so we don't have to, continually reinvent the wheel, right? We're here to learn and grow together, and really support each other moving forward. So remember to share your successes in the comments, and remember that you are the midlife revolution. Wayne, what say you, sir?
I say thank you to folks for joining. And Stacy, it is so important that we recognize that midlife is really an opportunity to launch, because there's another half a life left. If we are only midway, so it's not a time for resignation, but a time for reimagination and restoration. So let us use our midlife as a launch pad to just say, yeah, there's so much more, bigger, better, bolder, and we'll see you at the top.
Yeah, I would just say keep living life with possibility. There's so much more greatness to come. Thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of the Midlife Revolution Unleashed.
Remember, feel free to DM Stacy or me, Wayne,
Anytime.
privately if you'd like to get a free session to just see if we're a good fit.
That's right. Remember, I'm cheering you on. Wayne will see you at the top.
I'll see you at the top. Talk to you all soon. Bye. And there you have it, folks. This week's episode of the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hey, we truly appreciate your spending this time in this space with us. Join us next week at the same time as we dive into relevant topics and present solutions to spark new thinking and empower your midlife journey.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, let us know in the comments and share it with others. And of course, remember to subscribe, share, like, hit that notification bell. You are the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.